What's up, YouTube? This is going to be our guide on how to use Kleavor in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing some competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, let me know about it in the comment section below. And if you enjoy this series, if it helps out, make sure you hit that like button and let's get into it. So Kleavor has got a very nice attack base of 135. That's probably its best it's got going for it. Its defense is kind of nice too. The rest of it is, it's just okay. Like, speed is it's just okay at 85. And yeah, the rest is kind of garbage. So, let's have a look at its typing. We've got a bug and rock typing. It's an alright typing, nothing super amazing, not terrible. It has got the abilities Swarm, Shear Force, and Sharpness. So, you know, especially Sharpness and Shear Force, they are pretty nice abilities. Now, we're going to be starting off with more of a lead style set here, so this could work with various different items, which I'll go over in a bit. So I've got some full detail here. So we're going to have a look at its signature move it gets is Stone Axe. So Stone Axe is a really cool move. It's a rock move. It's 65 base power. And it actually sets up Stealth Rock on the field after using it, which is pretty cool because you can get around stuff like, say, for example, like a Hatterene, you know, with a Magic Bounce. So you can use that move. Now, with its ability Sharpness, it actually boosts the power of Stone Axe, which makes it a respectable, decent base power move then, which is really nice. And it gets a lot of moves actually boosted by Sharpness that are learned, which is really nice. I'll go over all of them in this video. Now, we're looking here at a max attack and max speed set with Jolly Nature. Most of the time, you're going to want to run Jolly Nature on this because it really does need that. It's got a good attack stat anyway. So I've given it Stone Axe, which is great. We're looking at this as a lead Pokemon, so standing up the Stealth Rocks and doing some good damage. It gets close combat, which is really nice there. It's going to allow you to hit either Steel-type Pokemon, Rock-type Pokemon, normal Pokemon. A great coverage move in general, fighting type. It gets X-Scissor, which is boosted by the Sharpness. And I've given this one Terra Blast Water. Now, with Kleavor, it actually has quite a few different Terras that could potentially work for it. So, I'm not going to say Water is the only good one. You could have Terra Rock if you want to boost the Stone Axe. If you want to boost up X-Scissor or Bug, you could. I think there's better ones than Bug. Another couple of notable ones you could have are Fairy. That's quite nice. Just for resistances. Steel isn't too bad there, because that can remove its weakness to the Steel and Rock, which is going to be quite good. And yeah, same with Stealth Rock as well, you know, if there's a Stealth Rock on the field. Another okay one is Fire, but you do have to watch out because it is already weak to Water. So I don't mind Terra Blast Water because any fire moves coming your way, you can go Terra Blast Water and do some pretty nice damage there too. But this gets a mountain of moves for Sharpness, so you could always adjust some of these moves if you really wanted to. Another one you could possibly go for if you just want to keep the Terra like, I don't know, Rock or whatever, is Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace actually gets boosted by Sharpness, so that could be a good way to get around, say, fighting Pokemon. I'm thinking of like a solid count. A real solid counter for this is like Great Tusk, so that would be alright for it. You've got stuff like Trailblaze too. Terra Water will be okay too, so Terra Blast Water. So that's another option there. But I'm thinking just off the top of my head that Great Tusk would be a very good counter. Indeed, for sure. So that's sort of like a lead style set. Now, you don't have to have Focus Sash as the item. I thought that it would be a handy item to actually use that. And you could even go for something like Acrobatics too, because that could double the base power there. That could be handy, but maybe it's not going to always happen, so you could go for Aerial Ace instead. Another item you could have on there is Heavy Duty Boots. That's pretty good. But more on this as a lead. I think that either Heavy Duty Boots or Sash would be okay if this was, you know, serving as a lead Pokemon. Regardless of what move you're going to be using here, I think these are all pretty, you know, solid moves on our physical sweeping frame. So we're going to now have a look at a Sword Dance sweeping set. Now, I've made this one up here to try and get around some of its counters. So we've got exactly the same EV spread as last time. Nothing's going to change there. Jolly Nature, Max Attack, and Max Speed. Still got the Sharpness ability. I adjusted it to Heavy Duty Boots because that's going to be handy. Plus, obviously, you don't lead with this Pokemon. You might swap it in mid to late game. So you probably want to have heavy duty boots on the field there in case there's any entry hazards and stuff like that. So we've got Sword Dance, which is a great way to boost its already really nice attack. Trailblaze actually is kind of underrated because this can give you a bit of coverage and all boost up your speed too, which is going to be great. Of course, I've got Stone Axe on there and Close Combat for a weighted Steel-type Pokemon. So I think this Sword Dance set has a little bit of potential about it. It's going to be sort of how you play it. Now, interestingly enough, I actually gave this Terra-type Grass, which could be a little bit of a surprise too for opposing water-type Pokemon. That'd be quite good too. Also, anything that's rock and ground, those sort of things, that'd be really, really cool. Kind of surprise coming your way, especially or a water move's coming your way. That could be a great surprise factor there too. You can actually have also Terra Fighting. I can see that working for close combat. Of course, you could have Terra for Stone Axe as well. Terra Rock, that could work too. There's quite a number of different Terras you can give this Pokemon. It's sort of like depending on, what moveset you get. I was thinking another good one would be Flying too. That's not all that bad. You maybe more for the lead one if you had like Area Waste. Just on the top of my head, Flying's actually not all that bad. So if you change that one to Flying, so that way you could sponge any fighting type moves coming your way. That could be alright. I don't know. There's so many different Terras you could give this. Now, back to the Sword Dance Sweep one. I was just thinking about that for a sec. We've got like a physical Sword Dance Sweeper. Once it gets like, I say 1 to 2 Trailblazers up, that's going to be very, very fast. And it's going to be hitting reasonably hard at the same time too. And anything that's not a Choice Scarf or very, very ridiculous high base speed, you are going to be able to outspeed and punish them a lot with Stone Axe and close combat combinations. I'm not saying it doesn't have any counters, but, it's going to be hitting really, really hard. Now, let's have a look at another. I believe this could be the best sort of set to run on Kleavor for a Choice Scarf or Band set. Both of these could actually work. So I've adjusted the moves a little bit, and we'll see what you think here. So we've got U-Turn, which is a great move, a Choice Band, Choice Scarf. I've got Stone Axe, of course. We're going to keep that with Sharpness. Now, I know these other moves aren't boosted by Sharpness, but it does make a pretty big difference there to Stone Axe. Now, I've also given it Close Combat, and I've given it Terra Blast Fairy. So Terra Blast Fairy is actually not a bad surprise kind of factor there. And you could go Terra Blast Fairy for some surprise against the opponent. And any like fighting types, that'd be really, really good against them. Once again, this can run like a lot of different Terras. So same EVs. You could go Adamant if you wanted to on like a Scarf set instead of Choice Band. Like that'd be doing crazy damage with the Choice Band with Adamant, but you'd be losing a bit of your speed. So I'd probably definitely run Jolly on there. You have to run Jolly, even Choice Scarf. Even Choice Scarf Jolly isn't all that bad either. That allows you to get some good damage against some speedier Pokemon. So I could see that one as definitely working for sure. Now, let's have a look at the other abilities again. We've gone over Sharpness a lot. I feel like these style of sets here are probably going to be seen the most. But it does get Shear Force, so let's have a look what Shear Force actually boosts on Kleavor. Unfortunately, it's kind of barren for Shear Force. We got Stone Axe. That's going to be a boosted move there. Whether you want to use Shear Force for it is another thing, though. That's probably nowhere near going to be as good. We've got Trailblaze as another move there, but once again, you're not getting your secondary kind of effects there. So you're kind of just relying on base power, and let's be real, Trailblaze isn't the great. So Shear Force, really, it doesn't have the moves for Shear Force, in my opinion, to be like a really good threat. Obviously, Close Combat is not boosted by Shear Force. I've just dropped that on its coverage, and I've turned this one into a Sword Dance Life Orb Shear Force set. So obviously, when you're using moves like these two here, Stone, Axe, and Trailblaze, you'll be getting that boost, and then you got the Life Orb on top of it too. So it's not a bad little combination, but once again, quite gimmicky compared to the other sets there for sure. That's sort of why I called it Shear Force Fail, because it doesn't get the right moves, Kleavor, if Kleavor got a couple more different moves for Shear Force, it could be like a lot better using that. But I think most of the time you're going to see it, it's going to be Sharpness, and that's going to be sort of like the best moveset you want to go for them. So before we get to some memes here, let's have a look at doubles, see what we can do in doubles, or if you're playing VGC, any sort of format like that. This one is a little bit different. I've changed things up a tiny bit because I'm going to be actually giving this a go as Shear Force for doubles, and I think it actually has some sort of use here. Once again, you definitely can use these style of sets for doubles too. I'd probably contemplate swapping Stone Edge for Rock Slide though, if you're definitely going for a speed sort of set. But back to the Shear Force one, it is kind of interesting. So it does get quick guard, which is pretty cool. So that's going to get around any of those priority moves, which could be handy on your team. We've got Rock Slide. So Rock Slide is going to be useful there. You're not going to get your flinch though. You're only going to get like the power. So a lot of the time with Rock Slide, it's great because it can actually get the flinch, but this way you're sort of focusing on getting the damage instead of the flinch, which may not make it as effective, unfortunately. We've got Trailblazer, just the coverage, and Close Combat. That's about all I can squeeze out of, like, Shear Force. It's kind of bad. But that's probably your best Shear Force set for doubles if you want to use Shear Force. But if you wanted to use it for, say, let's adjust one of the sets here. If you wanted to use... Stone Axe can still work for doubles, but I still think that Rock Slide could be useful at the same time too. And you could even run Choice Scarf on there too if you really wanted to, like Choice Scarf Rock Slide. Or you can just run something like this. So we've got Rock Slide, Close Combat, X Scissor, and Aerial Ace, and we'll change this up to like you could go Terra Rock. So Terra Rock Rock Slide. That'd do some pretty nice damage there for sure. You're not getting much of a boost, though. That's the only thing. You got Sharpness on the other moves, and Close Combat sort of like a coverage move. But yeah, I'd say this Pokemon's pretty decent, but it's definitely not overpowered. It's got like quite a lot of weaknesses. Let's have a look at a special set. This is obviously memes and trash. So looking at Kleavor's special, it is horrendous. We've got a base of 45, and we're going to run this one as max speed and max special attack, modest nature. It does actually get air slash, so you might be able to do like a Shear Force set with this, because air slash, that would be all right. But I've given this one Swarm. So we got Swarm, air slash, Bug Buzz, Terra Blast, Rock, and Focus Energy. So a critting special set with Throat Spray from Bug Buzz. Absolute disgraceful damage there, but it could be a fun meme if you want to try something fun out with Kleavor instead of like the normal standard stuff. Now, let's have a look at some counters. A couple of big counters here I see. It's just in general, if you're using Kleavor, I'm thinking stuff like, Goldengo. That would be really annoying to deal with this because of its typing. So you got Steel and Ghost. Now, looking at it, it's like a typical sort of moves to get. Like, it's not much you can use against it unless you've got like something in the bag like Terra Fire. That could work. Like if you wanted to use, I won't use Airways. I'll go Terra Blast, Fire. That could be good. Then you could drop Close Combat because you've got coverage against Steel as well. And then add something else on. So you've got Rock Slide, X Scissor, Terra Blast. Just trying to think of some counters to Goldengo right here. You also have Night Slash. That's another option there too. Or you could just pop on Airways could be another one too. I'd give that. Actually, that's not a bad set actually. That's pretty good. Let's get rid of Rock Slide. Let's say this is the singles again. That's actually probably a really good set. So this gives you a way, Terra Blast Fire to hit, obviously, your Steel types. X Scissor, you've got that Sharpness boost. Airways, you've got a Sharpness boost, and you can hit Fighting type, and you've got Stone Axe. I want to say that's probably one of the best coverage sets on, like, a physical sweeping style set. That's nice. I like that. And it also covers, like, Goldengo, which can be a definite threatening Pokemon with its Steel and Ghost typing, so you won't be able to use Close Combat on there. So Goldengo's still a good counter. Not everyone's going to be running this exact set here, Terrify. So I'd still say Goldengo. Another one is Great Tusk, because that's going to be a great rest in peace, you know? Like, if you come across that, it's just going to absolutely destroy you. Try and think of some other good ones as well. Any Steel types? What do we got? Heatran. We got like Heatran. That's another one. Unless you're running something like Terra Blast Ground or Close Combat will deal with that, but it still will live there for sure. Trying to think of some other ones like Majana. It depends what sort of format you're playing as well. Like there's quite a few counters to this. I'm trying to Zamazenta, that's another one. So this Pokemon is going to be countered by lots of Pokemon for sure. The main thing I see about Kleavor, just as some sort of general talk here, is its coverage move. If you don't have the right coverage, it's going to be kind of useless. So I don't know, if you've got a good coverage set for Kleavor, if I haven't mentioned it here so far, leave it below in the comment section. I think this is fairly good coverage. I'm actually kind of happy with this set here. It's quite decent coverage to say the least. Some good teammates for it. Well, you could, I'm thinking Dondozo. I mean, Dondozo is always such a great like partner for anyone, because obviously you can get around any of those fire moves, those fighting moves. I'm thinking also even Goldengo's not a bad one as well. That's not too bad. There's quite a few you could actually use here, but the thing I see about this Pokemon is it's not its speed. I wish it was a little bit faster, that's all, and had a couple more different moves that it learned there. But let's go over some of the other moves that it actually does get there. If you got any more options for Kleavor, let me know about in the comment section. I'm sort of just going to do some last minute thoughts here. I like to go over all of its moves, all its status moves, physical, special moves. I like to, discuss everything about the Pokemon. So for sharpness options that I didn't mention, so we've got Night Slash. That's another one you can use. We've gone over virtually everything else here. Air Oasis is one we already went over too. Nothing really great there. And yeah, Trailblazer went over a sweeping set. We had Stone Axe as its basically every set is going to have Stone Axe unless you're rolling Rock Slide, maybe in doubles. That's probably the only way. You got Rock Blast there. I don't really see Rock Blast being used unless you're using like loaded dice or something like that. And yeah, Brick Break's not going to get used very much. Counter, not really. That's more of a meme. Like maybe if you want to do like a Swarm meme, like Focus Sash counter with Swarm, and then like a physical, like I don't know, like a bug move or something like that. It is a little bit brown. Let's have a look at its stats. Okay. Oh, agility. All right, it does get agility, so that is worth mentioning. I might actually. Okay, let's pretend this isn't a lead set. You could replace agility with one of these moves. I don't know. Like, Bug's a funny move. Like, it doesn't really hit that many Pokemon, so I'd be inclined maybe to get rid of that and go... Like, I'm just saying, for an agility set. So, agility, Aerial Ace, Stone Axe, and Terra Blast Fire. That gives you pretty good coverage all around against most things. And it also, you can adjust your EVs to Adamant then. So you got that thumping attack stat, Adamant HR 269. You're not going to get outsped. Virtually everything's going to be outsped. And the only thing you got to fall down is from like a priority move or stuff failing to one shot there. You could invest a little bit in health too. I'm trying to think if you run any like defensive stats. Like I'm thinking something like this. Like say you wanted to do... This is like a variant lead set. I'm just making this up on the spot here. I can't promise you it'll be anything amazing. So let's go with a real defensive set. I want to see how this looks. Okay, so we got it. Let's pretend this is a lead. We're going for more like support here. Okay. So heavy duty burns. We could roll leftovers on that one. Leftovers. So we got leftovers, Stone Axe. So we set the Stealth Rocks up. We could have U-turn still. Yeah. Any other status moves that could be helpful? Oh, it gets Tailwind. Okay. So we got Stone Axe, U-turn, Tailwind. That's pretty good so far. Oh, but even gets Baton Pass. That's cool. Just thinking anything else we could add in here. How about just a coverage move? That could be a good idea because I can't do anything to Steel type so far. You could either opt to go for Brick Break to get rid of screens. Like Grimmsnarl with screens. That would be okay. And then you could U-turn out of there. So there's sort of like a roughly put together defensive wall Kleavor lead, which could or couldn't be useful. I think it's got a little. It's definitely way more of a gimmick than the other sets we're talking about. But I see a little bit of you know, potential there for Kleavor. And we sort of already went over its special moves. I had, like, virtually nothing. But I think that's pretty much it for Kleavor. I think this Pokemon is decent. It's nothing super amazing. It can be a good... I still think it might be best as a choice Scarfer. But it can act as not a bad Sword Dance mid to late game sweeper as well. Or Scarf a choice band throughout, you know, even as a lead, that could be quite good as well. I think it struggles from its typing and from its stats and the moves that it learns as well. It can't really make use of Shear Force very well, whereas it could have, you know, where they got that nice gigantic stat. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, if you've got any more movesets and stuff that maybe I didn't mention anything here, please leave below, or Terra options. I tried to cover everything I could off the top of my head right there. As always, I just do these guides off the top of my head. And yeah, if you've got anything else to add, please leave it below in the comment section. I guess we'll do... I won't have another guide up today. Tomorrow, I'll have a new Pokemon guide up there for some of the Hisuians, but I'm going to try and cover all the Hisuian Pokemon, and maybe if there's any other Pokemon that are not Hisuian you'd like to see, maybe some of like the, you know, the legendaries in the game that have come in, or I can maybe cover some of the newer forms like Palkia and stuff like that. Let me know, and I think that's about it. Peace out, people.